Welcome my viewer to Kuku Wach. This is Jeff Oloo Mbaka. I'm in studio with Professor Wainaina, a presidential candidate. On what ticket? We're going to know that in a minute. Karibu, Professor.
Asante sana.
Say hi to our viewers.
Hi, like you've been told, my name is Prof.Michael Wainaina.
Yes.
And I am a presidential candidate in the 2017 election.
2017. This year.
2017.
Election.
Absolutely.
This year.
August 8th.
You're a presidential candidate.
I'm a presidential candidate.
Why presidency, Professor?
Because the challenges that we need to address in this country that relate to our young people and our women are not at the constituency level, they are not at the ward level, they are not at the county level, they are at the national level. When you traverse this country,
we don't have a problem at the county level.
I'm saying, if you come to the question of youth,
yes,
and probably I should backtrack and tell you why it is that I am running, and then come to why it is that I'm running for president.
Good.
I am running for president to inspire and invest in a new generation of young people who will modernize this country. Why do we need to address the issue of young people? Because for the last 54 years,
yes,
the approach of subsequent regimes in this country has been that youth is a problem to be solved. So we have successive regimes that have looked at youth as a problem to be solved. We need to realize that youth is not a problem to be solved. Youth is a resource to be developed.
It's a resource to be developed.
Yes.
In what way, Professor?
And that is what I was coming to.
Yes.
Your first question was,
yes,
why president?
Why president?
Okay?
Yes.
If you go to Western, if you go to Nyanza, if you go to Central, if you go to Coast, if you go to Northeastern, young people are in deep crisis. They fall in three categories. Our young people are either uneducated, undereducated, or miseducated. Okay? Our young people do not have the skills and the abilities and the technology to engage in a new world order. Remember, the world has changed dramatically over the last 20 years. So that if we are to address the youth crisis in this country, it cannot be done at the ward level, it cannot be done at the constituency level, it cannot be done at the county level, it must be done at the national level. And that is why I have gone for the presidency. You know, you go for the position that gives you the instruments and the power to solve the problem that you want to solve. If, for example, my problem was a cattle dip in my village, then I would have gone for the MCA position to fix that problem. If my problem was the market, you know, at
so I come from, should be addressing the
no. Oh, absolutely, yes. It's one of the things that you deal with at the ward level. Absolutely. There are some things. If I wanted to deal with the issues of, I come from Kuku constituency. If I wanted to deal with the issues of the market, we have a big market at the Gitaro. If I wanted to deal with the issues of the market, then I would have gone for the MP position because I would be able to deal with market issues if I went for that position. But if we are to inspire and invest in the next generation of young people who will modernize this country, then we need to deal with youth as a resource at the national level. And let me tell you, this is the first time in the history of presidential elections in this country that youth and women will be a main agenda for the presidency. It has never been. This is the first time on that podium. The 8 of us who are running for presidency, this is the first time that for one of us, youth and women are top of the agenda.
Professor, what makes you believe that you have the solution for the youth?
I don't have the solution for the youth. The solution for the youth is with the youth.
Is with the youth.
What needs to happen is that the youth need to be given the space and the opportunities to express what their potentials are. Currently, that space and those opportunities do not exist because the current regime has absolutely no motivation to want to include youth and women in their regime. Why? They are tribalists.
The current regime, that's the Jubilee government.
No. The current regime has people who are offshoots of KANU and who are Moi political orphans. Yes, right now they call themselves NASA and Jubilee. You don't know what they're going to call themselves tomorrow.
NASA in government, Professor?
Yes, it is.
NASA is in government.
Absolutely.
In what way?
In 24 counties.
In 24 counties.
You have NASA being in government and answering. So that if ODM or Wiper or CORD or whatever they want to call themselves, if they had anything fresh, if they had anything new, okay, we should have seen them in the counties where they control. And now, what they should be telling us, now, this is what we have done in this county, this is what we have done in this county. Now, we want the government in Nairobi. Yes. We want the government in Nairobi so that we can scale up what we have done in this county.
So the buck stops with the president.
The buck does not stop with the president. The buck stops with the governor at the counties and with the parties that draw the policies from which these governors are supposed to be drawing from. So that if, for example, there is a county A that is a Wiper county, we should see how the policies and the manifesto of Wiper have changed that county so that we can see that if we had a Wiper government at the central government, this is what they would do. What have we seen? We have seen that all counties from all parties are equally tribal, they are equally corrupt, and they are equally mediocre. And that is why I have said the challenge with the political class today is that they are all tribal, they are all corrupt, and they are all mediocre. It's what I call siasa ya ukabila, ukora na upuzi, and for both sides.
Professor, before we move forward, you've talked of, you've placed the youths under 3 categories.
Yes.
In terms of education.
The uneducated, the undereducated, and the miseducated.
What will you say?
Yes.
In terms of education system in Kenya?
Yes.
Is it in order or something needs to be done?
There is something that needs to be done, but the something that needs to be done is not to change the structure. If you go to my blog, Prof.Michael Wainaina.com, Prof.Michael Wainaina.com, I have written an article that explains that the problem with the current education system is not the structure, it is the pedagogy. If you do not change the pedagogy, even if you change the structure, you will not change the output. I'll explain. The 844 system, my friend, was imagined as one of the most practical systems of its age. When it was imagined, the 844 system was not only revolutionary, it was transformative in the way it imagined practical skills being embedded in education. What happened? While the curriculum was pretty clear about what is supposed to happen, the pedagogy, that is the delivery, pedagogy is the art and science of teaching and learning, did not change. If you do not change the pedagogy, it doesn't matter what curriculum you give.
Art and science of teaching.
The art
with
and
Professor
science of teaching.
Wainaina Michael as the president. What should we expect?
We expect, one, that we are going to review pedagogy, not just at primary and secondary level. The part that we need to start to review now is how do we teach teachers how to teach?
How do we teach teachers how to teach?
Absolutely.
They don't know how to teach.
If you do not address that question,
teachers don't know how to teach.
Teachers know how to teach in traditional pedagogy. Okay? If you want teachers to teach in modern pedagogy, you have to reteach teachers how to teach and then change the curriculum. If you change the curriculum without reteaching teachers how to teach, they will take the new curriculum and they will implement it in the old way and we will still be in the same problem.
If you want changes, you have to change the curriculum.
If you want changes, you have first of all
without
change
one of them, you are doomed to fail.
And it is the pedagogy that needs to change first. And for you to change the pedagogy first, you do not change the way we teach first. You change the way we teach the people who teach. Yes.
That's where we should move to.
That's where you should start from. Okay? And then you move towards the curriculum and see in which ways the curriculum has been tweaked. If you ask me, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the curriculum. If we fix the pedagogy.
Unemployment
of
the youth.
Yes.
How will you solve it?
Again, this is a fairly complicated problem, but the politicians make it look like it is a simple fix.
Politicians.
Only
politicians.
Especially politicians, okay? They make it look like it's a simple fix. Number one, we cannot fix the problem in the economy without fixing the question of corruption.
Yes.
In economics, I don't know whether you did economics. I did a bit of economics when I was in school.
I did.
And they told you that there are three factors of production, okay? Land, labor, and capital, okay? The problem with this country is that there are four factors of production. Land, labor, capital, and corruption.
Corruption
has become a factor. Absolutely. In this country has become a factor of production.
Since when?
Since the current political class became entrenched in
the current political class.
In NASA and Jubilee. In NASA and Jubilee.
What is Jubilee?
NASA is part of the current political class. Boss, what's the difference between NASA and Jubilee?
Jubilee is in government.
And I've told you that NASA is in government, and they have been in government. Yes, they're in 24 counties, and they were in the blood-soaked coalition government. I don't need to remind you that.
Was then.
What did they do? They stole from the young people the same way Jubilee has stolen from the young people. My friend, do you remember something called Kazi kwa Vijana?
I do.
What did happen to it?
Tell me.
They stole it.
They stole it.
NYS, they stole it. We have a political class, my friend, that continuously and habitually steals from the young people.
Professor, we're going for a break.
Please.
When we're coming back, you're going to tell us how we're going to tackle corruption.
Absolutely.
If at all you can't stop corruption.
And there was an issue of employment. I haven't responded to it.
Yes,
I need
going
to
respond
to
that. Do you
that.
think you can tame corruption or you can stop corruption?
When we come back, I'll explain to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're back with Professor Wainaina, presidential candidate on an independent ticket.
Yes.
Professor, karibu.
Asante sana.
Wasalimia tena.
Yes, like Jeff has told you, my name is Professor Michael Wainaina. I am a presidential candidate in the 2017 elections in August, and I'm an independent
2 months
candidate.
away.
2 months away, and I'm an independent candidate.
Professor, karibu sana. Before we went for a break, Professor, we were talking about unemployment.
Yes.
How Professor Michael Wainaina is the only solution to unemployment problem in Kenya.
I said that we have to look at employment from the context of corruption. And I have told you that corruption has become a factor of production.
It's a factor of production.
It is a factor of
in
production.
Kenya.
In Kenya, it is a factor of production. So that if you are a person who is setting up a business in this country, if you're a person who is running a business in this country, you have to consider corruption. Okay? It is one of the things that you will find obstructs you in every way, in every corner and in every turn, you are going to be obstructed by corruption. So that for me, I wouldn't say that there is going to be a solution to youth unemployment if the people of Kenya do not get rid of the current political class in NASA and Jubilee. If they do not get rid of those guys, there is absolutely no possibility of dealing with the question of unemployment in this country. So let's assume that number one, they do that. That the people of Kenya send home the political class in NASA and Jubilee and put in a new dispensation. Where should this new dispensation start in terms of dealing with the issue of unemployment? Number one, it has to deal with skills. Okay. Because I've told you that the average Kenyan
Yes.
is either uneducated, under-educated, or miseducated. You cannot have young people who are coming out of schools and colleges who do not have skills that employers are looking for. And Jeff, I will tell you,
Yes.
you talk to employers in this country, and they will tell you that they are thoroughly disappointed and thoroughly frustrated because the young people who are coming from colleges and who are
Yes.
coming from universities do not have job skills. They simply can't do the job. So, on one side,
Yes.
we have millions of young people who are looking for jobs, and on the other side, we have thousands of employers who are looking for people to do jobs, and they can't find these people.
So you say the problem is the teacher.
So, no, I say that the problem is the pedagogy, okay? The problem is how we are doing education. So that what happens is that even if you go through the whole education system and you come out at the other end,
Yes.
you come out without skills, without what we call relevant skills, and therefore you cannot get a job. So that is number one. Number two,
Yes.
we need to expand the economy. And for us to expand the economy, we have to support youth enterprise and women enterprise.
Youth and women.
And one of the things that I've told you, Jeff, is that for the first time, my candidature
Yes.
brings the issues of youth and women at the table in a presidential election. And one of the reasons why women are extremely important to my campaign and are extremely important to the next dispensation is because they are, again, a huge resource and they play a key role in the development of any country. There's a guy called Greg.
Women.
Women, absolutely. There's
What
a guy
about
called
men, Professor?
We'll come to men. We'll come to men. There's a guy called Greg Mills, and he has written a book called Why Africa is Poor and What Africans Can Do About It. And in this book, he says, no one works harder to produce more for so many with so little like the African woman. If you want to see productivity at its best, look at what women do. Women. Yet they do not have any support in terms of economic empowerment, in terms of social participation, and in terms of political participation. So what are we going to do to make sure that we bring them into the fold?
What do you mean they do not have support?
They do not have support. Oh, they do not have support. They do not have any support.
Who should be giving the support? Is it the government?
Number one, we do need legislature that is very, very clear on the participation of women in the economy and in politics.
Yes.
Right now, you know that we've been struggling with the two-thirds gender rule.
Yes, which is not passing anytime soon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And my manifesto moves that discourse a little bit further and makes it 50%.
50%.
It is not going to be 30% anymore. 50%. We must give women 50% of representation in all legislatures at the county and at the national level. 50%. 50% women, 50% men, and 50% youth. That proposal is in my manifesto. You can go to youthify and modernize.kenya.com. You will find my manifesto there.
I hope, Professor, you're walking the talk. Who is your running mate?
My running mate is Miriam Mutua.
Oh, good.
I'm walking the talk.
Carry on.
Okay?
Carry on.
Because the rest are not walking the talk. The rest are telling you, we support you, we support women, and when you look at the lineup, absolutely. Because I walk the talk. Now, so we're talking about 50% representation. In terms of participation, we need to bring women in, we need to bring young men in. Okay? Now, in terms of empowerment, economic empowerment, what has subsequent governments done? They have established things they call funds. You have heard about them.
Yes.
Youth fund, weather fund, women fund. These funds, Jeff, are not established to help women or youth grow in business. They are not.
What are they meant for?
My friend, what is the discourse that accompanies these funds? Wanasema, hawa vijana wako na shida, tunataka kusaidia wao. Sasa wapea wao pesa kidogo kidogo, wafanye biashara kidogo kidogo. Jeff, you're supposed to do biashara kidogo kidogo. You're not supposed to do biashara kubwa kubwa. No. Mega ni hao. Watu ya NASA na watu ya Jubilee. Hao ndio wanafanyanga hiyo. Nyinyi vijana na wanawake mfanye biashara dogo dogo. Hiyo ndio madharau ambayo wanasiasa wameonyesha vijana na wamama kwa miaka 54 iliyopita. How are we going to change that? We are consolidating all those funds which have been set up for the politicians to steal. Don't forget that these funds are not set up to help women and youth. They are set up so the politicians can steal from them. And they do steal from them. Absolutely. And you've heard.
No action taken?
No. Which action? All these people are innate together. NASA,
They are in it together.
They are eating together. I want to give you an example.
Give me.
When they started investigating the INYS scandal,
Good.
okay, there was a lot of hubris and a lot of hudabaloo about it and a lot of excitement about it, isn't it? What happened when fellows in ODM started being mentioned in the investigation? What happened to the investigation?
Tell me.
It died. You don't hear about it. And I remember writing and saying,
So they have the powers to kill it.
absolutely. Where
were they getting the powers?
they remember,
They're in the committee.
remember that they are in PAC, in the committees, they're in the Public Accounts Committee, and you have the MP for, is it for Syriza, the one who was saying that the other day, saying that these are money-making committees for these people. Okay, so
they're not to help Kenya.
Absolutely, they're not. So that when they started mentioning people from the opposition, that issue died, and I knew it was going to die because my father.
So it's dead.
Oh, the one expected to be resurrected. There is no honor among thieves, my friend. In fact, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. My father gives me there's a saying that we have in vernacular. I don't know if I can say it in vernacular. Then I translate it. If I translate, kusema kutafuta mbuzi yako na yule mtu mwenye aliikula. Okay, mbuzi yako imeibiwa,
mbuzi ndio
anakusaidia kutafuta. Sasa hawa ndio walikula mbuzi yetu na wao ndio tutaipata. Hatuwezi pata. And that's why I have told Kenyans, if you want change, you must get rid of Jubilee and NASA. What do you mean, who am I going to work with?
Yes, tell us the people you're going to work with. Because you're saying all the people in NASA, all the people in Jubilee are corrupt.
I haven't said that. They have said that themselves.
They have said that themselves.
They have said, and I have always told Kenyans, if you want to know who the people in NASA and Jubilee are, listen to them describing themselves. Don't even listen to Wainaina.
They do it.
They call each other thieves. They call each other corrupt. They call each other tribal.
And brothers.
And then they call each other brothers.
Yes.
They are brothers in corruption and in tribalism and in stealing. So I agree, they are brothers.
How are you going to end tribalism?
I have told you.
Because even in Kenya, people vote in tribal
lines. I have people do not vote in tribal lines. No, I do not vote in tribal lines.
It's happening.
You
majority.
Let me tell you something, Jeff. Let me tell you something, Jeff.
Tell me.
Politics is about narratives. Okay?
It's about narratives.
Narratives. The narrative that you have been given is that tribe and ethnicity is the most important thing in terms of political engagement, and dare you not vote outside the tribal lines. That is the narrative that you've been given by the tribal demagogues in Jubilee and NASA. Why have they given you that narrative? Because they need you to believe in that narrative for them to survive. If tribalism died today, the guys in NASA and Jubilee would not have a job tomorrow. You would still have a job. You would be here tomorrow. They would not be here. They rely on tribalism to become politically relevant. And that is why you think that tribalism is extremely important. I have told Kenyans, there is a very simple formula of getting rid of tribalism.
That's the formula, Professor.
Get rid of the tribalists. Okay? If, for example, in your studio here, somebody was stealing, and you knew who it was stealing, what do you go and get a management meeting and start drawing policies about it? You get the thief and you kick them out. Get the thieves in NASA and Jubilee and kick them out. You will have solved the question of tribalism and you will have solved the question of corruption. I have said.
But Professor, the thieves are walking scot-free in the streets of Nigeria.
And they will continue, Jeff.
We have institutions.
Those institutions are made to protect the thieves.
So you are going to strengthen the institutions.
Number one, get rid of the thieves. You don't even need the institutions. One of the most you don't need the get rid of the thieves.
They're wasting taxpayers' money.
They are wasting taxpayers' money. The EACC, especially that one, Jeff.
EACC.
That is an institution that has been around for how long? Almost 20 years. Tell me how many people it has jailed.
I can't even.
It was not created to jail anybody. It was created to hoodwink you to believe that the political class is doing something about corruption. They are not doing anything about corruption because I have said, go to my blog, Prof.MichaelWainaina.com. I have said, if Jubilee or NASA tries to fight corruption, they are finished.
They are finished.
Absolutely. I told you, you are looking for your goat
Yes.
with the person who has eaten it.
So they can't do away with corruption.
So they cannot do away with corruption
them.
because the political class
Yes.
and the political culture of NASA and Jubilee is founded upon tribalism and corruption. The key pillars
Yes.
are tribalism and corruption. If you remove those two pillars,
Yes.
NASA and Jubilee will come crashing down. So, do not be surprised when they don't fight corruption, when they don't fight tribalism. They not possible.
They can't.
It will be political suicide.
Professor Wainaina will fight corruption.
I don't need to fight corruption if the people of Kenya get rid of the thieves. I don't need to fight them.
By electing.
I need to inspire and invest in a new generation of young Kenyans who are going to modernize this country. That is my agenda. My agenda is not to fight corruption. The agenda of fighting corruption is for the people of Kenya. If the people of Kenya do not get rid of the thieves in NASA and Jubilee, we cannot fight corruption. Wainaina cannot fight corruption. The only way of fighting tribalism and corruption is to get rid of the tribal demagogues.
It's okay, Professor. Just tell us a little bit how your bills will be passed. Being a professor, being a presidential candidate,
Yes.
you're running on an independent ticket.
Yes.
If you become the president of
Yes.
Kenya tomorrow,
Yes.
it's President Michael Wainaina.
Independent.
We have the Senate,
Absolutely.
we have the National Assembly.
Absolutely.
We have bills coming.
Agree.
How are you going to get the support so that the bills are passed?
My advice
Yes.
to the houses that have been given the responsibility for legislation in this country
Yes.
is do your job.
Do your job.
This new constitution, Jeff, envisages separation of powers between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary.
Good.
What has happened is the Jubilee government
Yes.
has refused to pivot with the new dispensation. They think that we are still in the KANU era where Parliament was responding to the whims of the executive.
Yeah, now it's the Jubilee government.
There's a Jubilee
Last-
government, okay? So that when the new constitution came in,
Yes.
what we should have seen, Jeff, is an independent legislature
Yes.
and an independent executive working in harmony to meet the developmental ideals of the government of the day. What we have is a legislature that has what they call tyranny of numbers, that imagines
Yes.
that their job is to respond to the whims of the executive. And that is why I was telling you that the best expression of the desire of separation of powers is actually to have an independent president.
An independent president.
Okay? Because an independent president is not beholden to parliament, and parliament is not beholden to him. He is in the executive. The parliament is parliament. It has its roles, 3 of them, clearly defined in the constitution: legislate, represent, and oversight.
Oversight, yes.
Do your job, man. Do your job.
Professor, are you ready for the elections?
Absolutely. Why not? We
IEBC.
are ready.
What do you
Oh,
think of
absolutely.
IEBC?
What do I think about them?
Yes.
I was on a talk show the other day, and I was very, very, very clear.
No, you
I
have to
said,
tell them to do
oh,
it.
absolutely. IEBC, if you're listening to me, and I hope you're listening to me, and the communication that has come from the IEBC recently shows that they're listening to me.
Yes.
Be independent.
Be independent.
Be independent. The IEBC,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
In IEBC does not stand for indebted to Uhuru and Raila. It stands for independent.
Independent.
If they want to print the ballots in River Road,
Good.
they go and print them in River Road. They are not answerable to anybody. They must deliver to the people of Kenya, not to the tribal demagogues in NASA and Jubilee, to the people of Kenya,
Free and fair.
elections. We expect nothing short than free and fair elections. But remember, Jubilee and NASA are not interested in free and fair elections. No, you thought they're interested in free and fair elections.
What are they interested in?
They're interested in elections they can win. They're not interested in free and fair elections.
Free and fair elections.
They are interested in elections they can win. How do I know that? You just need to look at the nominations that they conducted. My friend,
Pathetic.
those are pathetic nominations. They are shambolic. They are shameful.
Professor, you are a word of peace to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
As we head towards August general elections.
What is
your word of peace?
This country
Yes.
belongs to all of us. This country will be built by a new generation of young people who think differently and who want different. The reason why I'm running for president is to ensure that we inspire and we invest in that generation so that we have new ideas, we have a new vision, we have a new direction so that the next generation will live in a modernized country. So go to youthifyandmodernizekenya.com. You're going to find what our manifesto is. You're going to find what our vision is for the next generation. And I have said, if we are going to modernize this country, we must invest in the youth, in a new generation. And that's why I've come with a new word called youthify. Youthify. Make youth and the youth the drivers and engines of modernization.
Professor, will you concede defeat if you are defeated in a free and fair election?
I do not see the people of Kenya being defeated. I cannot be defeated for so long as the people of Kenya. Do you know that 70% of the voters in this country are young people? Do you know that 50% of the voters in this country are women? Do you know that a majority of people in this country are not corrupt? If you are an honest man and an honest woman, we need to partner together in order to invest in a new generation of young people. So I am counting on honest men, not thieves, on honest men, honest women, and young people to change this country. Jeff, it is not Wainaina who is going to change this country. It is the people of Kenya who are going to change this country. And for them to change this country, we have to give them and to articulate a new vision and a new direction. And that is what I'm doing.
You are sure of winning the presidency?
I do not have any doubts about the people of Kenya and the direction they want their country to go.
Professor, we are wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Norway TV, if in case you win, President Wainaina will be grateful. We are praying for you. We hope Kenyans are going to decide. You have a date with the Professor Wainaina come 8th of August 2017. Asante sana, Professor.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Salimie wananchi.
Nashukuru.
Kuku from Jeff Oloo Mbaka, Lulu.